Yes, ma'am, that's me.
You've worked with a lot of people.
Yes, Chris Brown, Fantasia, Ariana Grande, Fifth Harmony, Kelly Rowland, Beyonce, Michelle Williams.
J-Lo.
J-Lo.
Get that in there.
Yeah, I forgot about J-Lo. How can I forget about that? A bunch of other people. I mean, so many people. Brandy. I mean, I've lost count.
I just want to hear from you. What is it that you think? Because I read a really cool article that said you were bringing back that 90s flavor. Did you see that article in Billboard?
Yes, I did. And I actually did bring it back.
Is that part of what you think makes you so attractive to all these artists? Because I feel like I grew up in the 90s and I don't remember there being any other better time than the 90s.
I mean, 90s, you know, growing up in London, UK, American music was our biggest influence for me. And the 90s R&B was like what I lived on, is what I grew up on. And when I came to America, it was kind of like it was over. And I remember I was in a label and I was like, what happened to all the 90s R&B music? Hey, Donnie. And someone was like, oh, it's dead. That era is gone. Yeah. And I remember I was frustrated because I was like, man, I wanted to experience that again. And a good friend of mine said, yo, why don't you just bring it back? And I was like, how am I going to bring it back? Like, it's gone. It was like, dude, someone brought it in the 90s. Bring it back. So I remember I went through some old 90 records and I remember listening to Don't Wanna Be a Player No More by Big Pun. And I was like, I'm going to flip this record. And I flipped it, and Ariana Grande came out and did The Way, and R&B was back on the map. And ever since then, I've been hearing a bunch of samples by everybody sampling old 90s R&B records.
Okay, I would love to play a really quick fire round of questions with you. Just say the first thing that comes to mind. What was the first song that you heard on the radio that you worked on?
Oh, Champion.
And who? Champion?
Yeah, Chris Brown and Chipmunk from the UK.
Who is the most particular person in the studio? The most detail-oriented, the most like, let's do it again. Who?
Woo. Ciara.
Yeah. Who makes you laugh the most?
Chris Brown.
Who brings the best food? Who has the best setup when you're in the studio?
Ciara.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, actually, Kelly Rowland, she always wants some, like...
All the Destiny's Child people!
Yeah.
Any Beyonce yet?
No. Beyonce's quite gentle. She got her own thing.
Who is an artist that you're just dying to work with?
Kanye West and Jay, still like on my list, still my number one. Big fan of theirs, and I think they are leaders of this music thing for years. So.
For other people that are out there and they're inspired by somebody like you, how do they get in? I mean, you're working with everybody, but you've cracked some sort of code or you've hit some stride. How do you get there?
To be honest with you, I never really cracked any code. I just kept making music that I believed in, and someone believed in the same music I believed in, and it connected, and that's basically it. It's always hard. It took me 12, 15 years to get through, so.
I have to ask you this because someone was just telling me that the first time they ever heard their song on the radio, they were driving for Uber, and it was Justin Bieber's song they had worked on. Did you have a day job that you were doing, like, right up until when you started? Yeah. What were they?
I remember I was working at a barbershop when I heard my record on the radio. I was like, oh!
That's amazing!
But yeah, I mean, I still hear my songs on radio and be like, oh yeah, that's me. Like, I forget sometimes.
So when you're in there, are you also working on the keyboard and piano and writing? You're just doing a mix of both?
I'm a musician, you know. I'm a musician. I've been playing, my first instrument was drums at 4 years old. So I'm a musician at heart, and, you know, singer-songwriter is what I do. But yeah, you know, everything from the kick drum to the piano to the guitar to the vocal in the booth, pretty much me.
So other people out there, if they're like, I want to work with him so bad and they're an up-and-coming artist, are you easy to reach, or are you kind of like, at this point, you're only working with the big guys?
No, I'm always looking for new talent. Actually, I just put my own artist out, Major. Go check him out, Major. He has a song called Why I Love You. The new talent and the future is where it's at. You know what I mean? Working with the big guys is dope. I've loved doing it. I've done it for many years. But it's in the future, and digging up the art, that raw talent, that needle in a haystack that is just going to be special later on. So I'm always looking for that.
You know it right away in the studio, don't you?
I definitely do.
You're like, that's it, we got it.
Yeah,
Last question, how do you know you got it? No more going back, no more rewriting, no more re-singing, no switching it up. You're like, no more touching it. It's done. You
basically can't sit down and listen to it. When that music makes you jump up and like you kind of like feel like something's in you're like, ooh.
You gotta have that moment.
That whole, you know, that moment where you feel like the whole world's about to change.
I love it. They need you for a group photo. So nice to meet you. Thank you.